The Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. John. John chapter 14 verses 27 to 31. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give it to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled or afraid. You heard me say to you, I am going away and I will come back to you. If you loved me, you would rejoice that I am going to the Father. For the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you this before it happens, so that when it happens you may believe. I will no longer speak much with you, for the ruler of the world is coming. He has no power over me. But the world must know that I love the Father and that I do just as the Father has commanded me. My peace, a whisper in the storm. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give it to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled or afraid." John chapter 14 verse 27. There are days in life when we feel as if we are drifting in a vast and stormy sea. As though the small boat of our soul is being tossed amidst waves of anxiety, storms of trial, and clouds of uncertainty. In those moments, we long for one simple thing, peace. But strangely, the more we seek peace through success, material possessions, or relationships, the emptier we feel inside. Because true peace doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the one who stands in the middle of the storm, reaching out to us just as he once did to his disciples. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. 1. Peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of God in the storm. Once, an artist was asked to paint a picture on the theme of peace. Many others painted serene lakes, sunlit fields, or clear skies, but the most surprising painting came from this artist. He painted a roaring waterfall crashing down over jagged rocks, with white spray bursting in every direction. But in a hidden crevice of the cliff, there was a small bird's nest, and inside it, a mother bird was gently covering her young. That painting won the prize, because it captured true peace, not the absence of chaos, but the resting of the soul in the hands of its protector. Even in the fiercest storm, Jesus gives us his peace, not the kind that the world can easily offer or take away. He doesn't promise a smooth life, but he promises his constant presence. And where he is present, even the tallest waves cannot steal our inner calm. 2. When Jesus says, "Do not be afraid," it is not just comfort, but a command of love. Do not be afraid is the most repeated phrase in the entire Bible. Some say it appears 365 times, once for each day of the year. Perhaps because God knows that fear is one of the greatest enemies of faith? Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of pain, fear of not being loved, fear of the future, fear of ourselves. And because of fear, we close our hearts, we harden behind walls of self-protection, and gradually drift away from God and others. But Jesus didn't come to scold us for being afraid. He came to be in the midst of our fear, to touch it with his presence. And he says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled, do not be afraid." Just as he once came into the locked room where the disciples were hiding in fear after his death, and said, "Peace be with you." John chapter 20 verse 19. It was not an empty phrase. but the living presence of one who had passed through death and entered glory, to bring eternal hope to those who had fallen. 3. The story of Father Maximilian Kolbe, Peace in a Living Hell. In July 1941, at the Auschwitz concentration camp, a prisoner escaped. In response, the Nazis selected 10 men to die by starvation. One of the chosen cried out, "I have a wife and children." Then Father Maximilian Kolbe, a Polish Catholic priest, stepped forward and said, "I want to die in his place." The Nazis agreed. Father Kolbe was placed in the starvation cell with the others. But instead of complaints, from that cold cell came hymns, prayers, and psalms, led by Father Kolbe. He did not just die, he gave life and peace to those suffering with him. When the Nazis returned to administer a lethal injection to the few still alive, they found Father Kolbe calm, praying, with eyes shining. One soldier later said, "I have never seen anyone die so beautifully." Father Kolbe did not have the world's peace, but he had the peace of Christ. And from within the darkness of death, he shone a light for many. 4. If you loved me, you would rejoice. Love seeks the fullness of life for the beloved. When Jesus said he would go to the Father, he didn't mean to abandon the disciples. He was going to prepare a place for them, for us, in the Father's house. Cf. John chapter 14 verses 2 to 3. True love does not hold the beloved back for selfish reasons. It allows them to fulfill their calling, even when it hurts. Jesus, in perfect obedience to the Father, chose to go, to come closer to us. A father once shared how his daughter went abroad to study. On the day he dropped her off at the airport, his heart broke, but he didn't stop her, because he knew love isn't possession, but support and self-giving. Likewise, the disciples were sad because Jesus was leaving, but he invited them to see a bigger picture. If you loved me, you would rejoice. Today too, if you are facing loss, the loss of a loved one, a relationship, something precious, let Jesus teach you to see with eyes of trusting love. Maybe it's not the end, but a turning point of grace. 5. The ruler of the world is coming, but he has no power over me. Light triumphs over darkness. Jesus knew that darkness awaited him. Evil surrounded him, betrayal, injustice, violence, but he was not afraid, because he knew that evil would not have the final word. He said, "I love the Father and do just as the Father has commanded me." Jesus obeyed not out of fear, but love, and that love was stronger than any evil. Like a candle that may flicker in the wind, but if lit by heaven, it will burn on, even in the night. You may be walking through darkness in your life, confusion, misunderstanding, wounds, or the cold indifference of the world. But remember, the darkness cannot overcome the light. Evil does not have the last word. In every trial, choose to love as Jesus did. And when you love, you too will be free from fear, bitterness, and the prison of ego. 6. Comfort for a troubled soul. Dear friend, maybe today you feel unsteady. Life is not going the way you hoped. Your heart is filled with voices of fear, confusion, and insecurity. You feel small and alone. But pause for a moment. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and listen to Jesus whisper, "Peace I leave with you. Not as the world gives do I give it to you. But my peace, peace from love, from presence, from a gaze that never turns away." If you have ever cried, Jesus knows. If you have fallen, He has bent down to lift you up. If you don't know how to pray, just be still and let Him pray in you. He spoke these words to the disciples before things fell apart, so that when the storm came, they would remember and believe. He speaks to you today too, so that when your storm arrives, you will know you are not alone. 7. In conclusion, may the peace of Christ remain in your heart forever. Dear friend, picture Jesus looking at you. No blame, no demand, only mercy. And He says, "Peace I leave with you." This peace has no conditions. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It cannot be taken away by sudden loss, because it flows from the heart of the one who loved you to the end. You may not be able to change everything, but you can let His love change your heart. And when your heart rests in Him, you will bring that peace to others, like yeast in the dough, like light in the dark. May you live each day with this promise. May you learn to trust, even before you understand. And may you always know, in every step of the journey, Jesus walks with you, whispering without end, "Do not be afraid, I am here, my peace is for you." Amen.